We are here. So
Hey,
good to be with everyone. Hello. How are you
hello,
today?
Kelly.
It's a sunny going from freezing cold to a beautiful 60 day today was so refreshing. I know you're out of your 1 day of winter.
We survived the 1 day of winter in Texas, right? It was a little bit chillsome earlier in the week, and today it's 80.
80. Oh my gosh, you guys. What's your temperature like? I was outside today and there's not like the crispness in the air because the 60 was a little, I don't know, I smell a little bit of smoke in the air too. I don't know what it is. And I'm like, ooh, I actually kind of miss the crispness, fresh, cold. Never thought I would say that.
Right? Yep. It's there's something about it though that once you acclimate, you kind of the resistance goes away. It actually is nice.
It's nice. Yes. Well, I don't know where you guys are in the United States, in the world, wherever you are. Heidi and I are going to jump right into our episode today, but I wanted to make sure if you're like, hey, I want to go someplace warm and nice upcoming in March, you could have some options of spending the day with Dr. Heidi and myself. You get us all day long for an incredible wellness retreat that we're going to talk about, literally everything and anything under the sun regarding functional medicine and how you can take control of your health. Simple, easy, as we learn that the body is a system and everything is influenced. And if you start taking a few of these things, other things are going to start to go away, and you'll walk away with some, actionable things that you're on a wellness plan. You're like starting. So instead of going to a 1 hour visit, like to have a consultation with somebody, just come spend the day with us.
Yeah, please do. We'd love to share information, tidbits, handout tools, just things you can do that can make a big and broad impact on your wellness journey. We know you're on that journey. We all are at some level, but let's really dig deep together and get you on that path and get going and
Absolutely.
give you a push. Go.
Yeah, we'll give you the little nudge that you need. Somebody to, let's go. Come on. Yeah, so March 6th, Orange County, California, March 20th, Dallas, Texas. So let us know if you're interested. Reach out to us. We've got some early bird pricing. We want you to, take advantage of some early specials. So just let us know. Today, we're going to jump right in, Heidi, to really talk about genes and meaning, a lot of people have done their genetic testing and they know they have these SNPs. And so that's all they really have to talk about is, oh, I have this, I have that. And we now know that it's not just about a SNP of this or that. And you guys, when I say SNP, that just means you have, gosh, it's so hard to
even describe it. There's a detour or a kink in the information chain on that DNA.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. But people get really hung up on that. I have this gene, I have that gene. But what we're really learning as, this is really new science. It's not like we've been studying this for 100 years. It's really new science. And now we're really able to find out that actually it's these pathways of genes that are going to be determined if certain genes will turn on or off. But at the same time, what I want you guys to all recognize out there is you don't wait for your genes to turn on to like get fixed. Like there's no pill that fixes when your genes turn on. And when I say turn on, that means express themselves, show up in your body. Now you're having symptoms of something. You have that because we are born with what our set of genes are, but what you're doing in lifestyle, diet, and more determines how they're going to be expressed. So Heidi, let's first just kind of talk about these pathways. What does that mean? And how do we keep them quiet, or what do we do about them?
Yeah. So genes can get super complicated sounding. They're really not. There's just a set of data, set of information, and each one is sending back information back and forth. And then they decide on how many data points they get, how they express. Do you have brown hair? Do you have blue eyes? Is your face narrowed? As you have more plump, these kinds of things, right? But it's the DNA, it's what expresses in terms of how our immune system responds, how we detoxify, right? What is our capability of detoxification? And that's a big one, right? That's a That's something we all need to know, because how we detoxify, which our body naturally does anyway, how well we are or efficient we are at that can really help us determine pharmaceutical quantities, dosages. Can we drink coffee? Is coffee bad for me, or is it really good for me? Chemical exposure, things like that. So knowing that, and our genes, or that pathway of detoxification, it's not one gene, it's the pathway of genes. A lot of genes that if they express, they'll show up this way. And if they all show up this way, that pathway is something you really need to focus on. But you wouldn't know it unless you did a proper gene test.
Absolutely.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, it's so great. And knowing that, if we can see in this pathway what your, triggers are, what your predisposed are, then we can say, in your diet, you should have more of this, less of this. In your exercise, you should have more of this and less of this. Actually, you'd be a person that really needs to support your detoxification pathway. You probably need to be sweating more and maybe invest in an infrared sauna, or maybe take these extra supplements to support that. But otherwise, it's almost like you're walking around in life playing Russian roulette. And most of us, our parents, our grandparents, it's been literally by default when something shows up and you get sick because of it and potentially die because of it.
Yeah, exactly. And to that point, just because your parents or grandparents are expressing in a certain way does not mean yours have to express that certain way. Everyone in my family is overweight. Everyone in my family has diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is complete diet and lifestyle related, but there are gene components that if you really have a bad diet, really don't exercise, the chances of these turning on are higher. And so your risk for type 2 diabetes becomes higher and has a genetic component, but it's typically not. It's not genetic because of mother and dad. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And knowing your genes really helps determine, like, I have a lot of genes that if they get turned on, I could run a high risk of being type 2 diabetic. Then we change your diet and your lifestyle, and you stick to that, and those genes will stay quiet. Just because you have the gene, just because it has expressed in other family members, does not determine your fate. Ever. Diet and lifestyle determines how they express.
Oh my gosh, this is so great. I was just listening to somebody and they were given a case study of a woman who was struggling to lose weight and had done all the diets and all the things and just didn't really work for her. And when they actually went in and did all of her genes, she didn't have genes for weight loss resistance or things like that. What they found is she had a lot of genes for some mental health and addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And she ended up basically having a food addiction. And most of the day she was fine, but almost every evening, late at night, she would kind of binge on a whole bag of chips or a whole thing of cookies, even though most of what she ate was pretty good. And of course, eating that late, eating that sort of food, none of that's good. And so knowing that, how you're going to treat somebody would be completely different in knowing their genetic profile.
Absolutely. It's whenever we go over someone's genetic results, I never not, is that a sentence? I never not have an aha moment. There's always a moment of, wow, that is so interesting. And not only one moment, but several moments going through that, because it is so detailed. It is so informative. What's your best workout? You want to talk about case studies? We had one woman came in. The harder she worked out, the more weight she gained. And hey, when I was in my 20s, I could do this and I could lose 10 pounds in a week. Now, at 45, your hormones are completely shifted and they're completely different. It's not going to work. But she's eating right. She's doing the things. We do the genetic test. She wasn't doing the right workout for her. She was going too hard, too aggressive, and really her genes like long, slow distance. They'll outlast us all. If it's a mile, if it's a run, we'll all be going, waiting for her to stop. She'll be going, are you all tired yet? So her genetic makeup is more for long, slow distance and not this power boot camp killing it. The other thing on top of that was a huge aha moment. She had a lot of genes for high histamine overload. And
Mm.
histamine is an excitatory transmitter. It's inflammatory. And so anxiety goes up, water weight goes up. And so the harder she worked out, the more histamine she produced, and this vicious cycle of internal metabolic stress that was ignited, and it just continued and continued. So overtraining syndrome, this is what basically she had. And we took the training down. She's losing the weight. Life is better. But
Life is
these
better.
aha moments are, we never would have found that in a blood test.
Well, and I think this is for people is once you have it done and really can have it laid out and take a look, all of a sudden your life's going to start matching. Oh, this is why sometimes I struggle with this. Oh, this is why I feel like this. It's just, it like puts things into perspective. Then moving forward, it's not like, oh, I hope I don't get this. I hope I don't get that. It's how can I build a lifestyle to reduce my risk as much as possible according to these pathways so I can live long and prosper and thrive.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You guys,
So go ahead.
no, continue, Heidi. What your last point there?
No, I was just saying, it's just when you have the information about your personal blueprint, this is nobody else. This isn't a cookie cutter, solution, one pill to fix everything. It is the blueprint for you. It is what will match and what will help you have a long, healthy, vibrant, aging lifespan. And gosh, the science now that we have this information and we're getting new information all the time is absolutely amazing and exciting at the same time. But it's available to you. So no more just treating, oh, I have a stomach issue. Oh, I'm constipation. Oh, these little issues one-on-one. Let's look at the big picture and really formulate that plan.
And
you,
I will totally just end with, in anything else in life, like business looks at data, marketing looks at data, even science, we look at data. This is your data. All you're doing is knowing your own data. And what a better place. I mean, you need to know, just like you need to know your banking and investing and everything, your checkbook, you need to know your data, and you're going to live a pretty well, healthy life if you follow your data.
Yeah, because you're making intelligent, informed decisions. It's the decisions we have to make, and we don't know. It's not a guesswork. Don't leave it to guesswork.
Don't leave it to guesswork. I love that. Well, you guys, if you want more information about genes, Heidi and I both in our women's mastermind, you get all of that and more, which is going to be opening up April 15th. But if any of you guys are like, I just want to know that, then we've got a program for you of your DNA blueprint. Like, you should learn it. You should know it. You should have it at any age to continue changing the trajectory of your health into better wellness and health, into ultimately longevity, right? It's not how long we live, but how well we live that life.
Exactly. Everything intact. That's what I say. I want to go out, everything intact.
Everything intact. Heck yeah. Oh my gosh, you guys, as always, we hope this brings you some great information, education, some thought process, like maybe I should do this. I've had my whole entire family do it. It's really a game changer, even as they're young, to know early and not wait on lifestyle changes that are going to affect your long-term health.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, everybody. Until next week. Thanks so much.
Be well. Bye-bye.